Now we're ready to start the next dynamic in the Dynamic Leadership series, which is the dynamic of discipline. And I want to begin with the definition. Normally when we think about discipline, we think about it in a negative context. We think about somebody's been disciplined, they've been punished, they've been corrected, they've done something wrong perhaps, and now they're suffering some type of consequence for it. And that is a proper use of the term, and we're going to explore that further in some future videos in this series. But I want to talk about discipline from a little bit different context for just a moment. If you go and look at an older dictionary, like say maybe 1950 and before, you'll find a little bit different definition of this word discipline. In fact, I'm using a definition from a 1948 Webster's Collegiate Dictionary that my mother happened to have, and it says this. It says discipline is training that molds, corrects, strengthens, and perfects, get this, moral character. That's not my definition. That is the dictionary definition of the word discipline. Discipline is training. And if you think about it, it makes sense. Even when you're using discipline in a negative context, you're training the person, you're training the child perhaps, to correct their behavior, to strengthen and perfect their character. In fact, the word disciple comes from this same root word, discipline. The disciple is someone that is taught by someone else. So it's all about training. So in that context, you're all being disciplined right now. This is a disciplinary proceeding because you are receiving training, character-based training that's designed to mold, correct, strengthen, and perfect moral character. So the first thing, the foundation I want to lay in this dynamic of discipline, which quite frankly can be one of those challenging dynamics in this entire series for me to communicate effectively, and I'll probably have more criticisms about this approach to discipline than any of the other dynamics, but bear with me if I can lay this foundation correctly. And the foundation is this, that whenever possible, discipline should be designed to restore the person into a proper relationship with his or her authorities. In other words, someone steps out from under authority. Our goal as leaders, as supervisors, is to use discipline to bring them back in, to use training to bring them back in under the protection of authority. Now, I realize that is not always possible. Sometimes we'll have people that are unrestorable, either because of the nature of the offense that they have committed is so egregious, you can't even have them in the organization anymore, they've got to be terminated, they've got to be cut loose, or perhaps their character is just such that they are unrestorable, they have no interest in being under authority, and they're going to continue to be a renegade, and they're going to continue to undermine what's going on within the organization. And whenever you can, if you can do it legally, if you can do it within policy, then we want to separate ourselves from those individuals. They are the unrestorable spirit that we talk about in the dynamic of restoration. But whenever possible, our goal should be to restore them into that proper relationship if that is possible. So discipline takes on this context of training with a character-based definition dealing with the internal motivation of the heart and our external relationship with our authorities.